I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats because your story matters and your heart beats for generations. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovated Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 76. Then Thursday, smoky conditions with hot sunshine and a high of 94. Get your exquisite box of French macarons at Nicolette's Macarons. Nicolette's Macarons is located right off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue on the Plymouth New Hope City line. Visit them in the store or get your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Cody Cup, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we want to really amplify what's going on in the community, and I'm going to bring our friend Rayette on and talk about what's happening. Thank you so much for coming on. I want to give you the floor, or the mic, I should say, and talk about the special things that are happening in our community and that what you're involved in. And introduce yourself, please. Hoa.
Thank you so much, Pinigigi, Miigwech, Wopida, for having me. Buju Nandwe Magna Dug Hamatakiapi, Rayette Indigenous Jaganashimong, Rayette Makiapi. Hello, my relatives. My name is Rayette Peltier. I'm the Marketing and Communications Specialist at AIFC, and we have a lot of exciting things up and coming with our organization. The first and foremost being we just started our intensive outpatient men's programming for recovery services, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Talk about how people can find more information. Is there a website, Facebook, or how can we log in and figure and tell our relatives about this great program?
Yeah, so it is a new program. Like I said, you can find more information by going on to our website, www.aifcmn.org. They are also accepting referrals to Hannah Gurnall. She is our treatment services director.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
then what can we tell our listeners about this program? Talk a little bit about it. What kind of services, how people can log in and lock on to this.
Yeah, so it'll be a weekly program. Right now, we do have our women's service, recovery services, Kunchi Onakan. So it will kind of be like the male counterpart to that programming. Um, it's something we've been, as an organization and for our community, have noticed that we really need for our menfolk relatives. Kunchionakan, which stands for Grandmother's Arms, and Dakota Nojibwe was started actually in 2020. And so we're finally excited to launch the men's programming. There will have individual counseling as well as the IOP, or intensive outpatient treatment, group therapy with culture integrated, which is really important for those on the red road for recovery, peer support, recovery planning and life skills, trauma-informed care, mental health support. And that will be
Yeah.
at our St. Paul location, the 579 Wells Street.
Yeah, definitely. So talk a little bit about that. So how can people, is there transportation to get there, or how can people get there? Or is some of it online? This is just really exciting, and I know it's new and you might
Yeah.
not have all the answers.
Yeah, I know. I really, it was so like, last second. So thanks for having me on today. I really wanted the treatment services director herself, Hannah, to be on, but she wasn't able to join us this evening. As far as I know, if it's anything like the women's intensive outpatient treatment program that we have here at AIFC, it is hybrid. They'll share like a lunch together. And then I do believe they help with transportation for those that need it.
Well,
So,
Rhea, we'll definitely have you on again, but I just thought, again, how important it is to talk about this and how important one of the things I believe is really important, what you talked about, is that, in ceremony, a lot of our relatives recover and find a way back, and so
mhm.
it's so important that that's part of the recovery road that you guys offer.
Yep. Yeah, and especially having a program that's culturally relevant is really important. Even just our women's recovery services alone with the cultural integration is really special too. Not a lot of other places offer that.
Yeah.
And I know part of the curriculum that they use for the meetings is, Wellbriety, White Bison.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's important, we talk about this a lot here in Native Roots Radio, but it's so important that a lot of our relatives aren't connected, and this will help them get reconnected or
Yep.
connected for the first time, and, that
Mhm.
is just amazing work that you're doing. Can you tell everybody what AIFC stands for?
Oh yeah, sorry. The AIFC stands for the American Indian Family Center.
Yes, I knew that. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure you knew that.
Thank
No, I'm just
you.
kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're often confused with the Minneapolis Indian Center. So when people are like, hey, the Indian Center, they're like, yeah, I love the Indian Center. They're thinking of the one in Minneapolis.
Right. Yeah. And so, this is so important. Talk about some of the other services that you guys have too. And I know we really want to promote this new one for men because men need to really come back and rejoin the circle. And it's really important to talk about that. But you guys do a lot of other work too.
Yeah, so one of our other newer program areas or service areas, I should say, are our elder services. So right now, we've been partnering a lot with Elders Lodge over in St. Paul,
Mhm.
doing stuff with them and kind of providing different supports for our elders. We also have housing services, employment services, mental health, family, and youth. Our youth are actually, I don't know if it ended yet or if it's still going, but they were just at Unity down in Oklahoma.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the leadership conference. And I think Dallas Goldtooth was giving one of the he was one of the keynote speakers for that. And so far what I've seen of pictures looks like they're having a lot of fun and, being around other Native youth in a good way and meeting other Native youth across Indian country.
Yeah, I saw that too. And then also one of the actors, she was on Reservation Dogs 2 was there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, it's really cool. Rayette, we gotta have you on again and then maybe, some more and bring some more information and updated information, but, it's very important what you brought up, and it's very important the work that you do and what AIFC does, so I really appreciate it, and I thought it was
Yes.
important to get you on today.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
We'll do this again, and you know how to reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, Bob Blake from Red Lake. Hoa, thank you. We'll see you soon. We'll be right back.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Culture prevents so many negative things from happening to us as individuals and as communities.
Strong roots begin with a healthy heart. For Indigenous women, heart health is part of caring for community, culture, and future generations. Even small steps can help protect what matters most. Discover ways to support your heart at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats, because your heart beats for generations.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are with our friend Bob Blake from Red Lake, the Solar Bear with the Solar News. Really, oh, you got a new hat there too. All right. Hey, really happy to see you and really catch up on what's going on. And Bob, I really follow you, and I really appreciate all the work and all the good medicine that you spread around this whole Turtle Island, this country, and especially here in Minnesota. So again, thanks for coming on to Native Roots Radio, and it's the Solar Bear with the Solar News and Sports. Take it away.
Yeah, Robert, I think we should first talk about what's happening up in northern Minnesota with the Boundary Waters fire right now. And also, there was a really big storm that came through the Bemidji area and took down 1 million trees. And so the cleanup of that storm, Robert, wasn't fully completed. Okay. And so what's happening, Robert, is we have this really dry weather now, and it's like all these trees that have got taken down are now like tinder, like fire tinder, like in the forest, and so when that happens, just a strike of lightning can like incite, a fire. And I think what we're seeing here, Robert, is, and we all know that climate change is making this, a lot worse, right? And, and just to put this in perspective, Robert, it was 100 degrees in the North Pole yesterday.
What?
100 degrees at the North Pole. People, this is not good. Okay. And so that's why we have to be proactive. We have to look out for our neighbors. We have to look out for, our four-legged and winged relatives, and make sure that we're taking care of one another, as the climate crisis, progressively gets worse. Right. And so that's what's happening right now in the Boundary Waters is we got about 1 million acres that are burning right now. And, this is, and also too, Robert, there's going to be air quality alerts for the next week or so. And I don't know if I told you this, but I think it was on a show a couple weeks ago or something, or a couple months ago or something. I told you I went and bought these air cleaners, for my home. And this is the reason why, everybody, I bought those air cleaners, was because, the air from these fires are going to be very hazardous for people's lungs and their breathing. So I would highly recommend, if you can, to go out and get yourself an air cleaner for your area, because it's really going to be important. The other part about this, Robert, is the heat is we're under the heat dome, so to speak. It's sitting like right over us, and it's going to be very, very hot. So this is just another thing that's kind of like aggravating the whole situation right now. The other part about this is the Trump administration had a bunch of cuts that were to the Forest Service, to a lot of these folks that work in these areas, in these jobs. So they actually have volunteer rangers now going out into boats, clearing these islands, because, this administration cut the funding to these programs that, could probably warn and hopefully no one loses their life over this.
Yeah, I heard a report earlier today. It started out as 1 acre in control, but you were talking about the way the weather is now and the wind, and all of a sudden, hundreds and hundreds of acres went up in flames right away, and a lot of people, like you're mentioning, got stuck, and hopefully everyone, like you said, got out, because it's moving fast because of this climate change.
And Robert, I went through firefighter training. I told you this story out in Montana, and fire moves really quick, everyone. You can't outrun it. Trust me, you can't outrun it. So it's best to stay away it's best to heed the warnings. The boundary waters have only closed 3 times in its existence. 3 times, Robert. This is another time it's closed, and that's very serious, people. So heed the warnings. Don't go to the boundary waters right now. If you have, plans to go up there right now, I would really cancel them right now. They're going next week. They're going to be able to talk and see how the situation is, Robert. But as for right now, it's kind of like a week by week situation.
Yeah, great update. I'm so glad you're talking about this because it's just what was it, 2 years ago? Wendy was in New York, and Manhattan was orange. The air was orange, and then it was orange here, and it was all from the Canadian fires that were out of control. In my lifetime, in my 65 years of living, I've never ever seen that until now. And now we're talking about maybe more bad air coming down to the cities and all over the state.
And this is why it's really important, everyone, that as we look at what's happening right now, especially for the politicians that are running right now for and asking for your vote, that we vote in climate champions like our relative Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. And she's an individual that is for the climate, that is for the environment, that wants to do the right thing. And you get someone like Angie Craig, who is like the second most, Robert, individual that is being backed by crypto money. Okay, Crypto Angie is being backed by this money, and this is data centers, you all. This is like that infrastructure that wants the water, wants our natural resources. And I'm sorry, y'all, our environment just can't take this right now. So we need, more than anything, in positions of power, we need elected officials that are climate champions, because this is serious stuff, Robert.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And again, I'm so happy that you're talking about this. And just the weather, I mean, it's been too hot just to go out. I mean, I'm out on the deck where it's shaded and I'm not doing anything. And 10 minutes later, I got to come in and I do my morning walk, and I got to get up really early, and it's still 85 degrees and I'm still hot and sweaty. And I've never seen anything like this in my life. And if you don't believe in, climate change, really take a look at the history of what the temperature really normally is this time of year in Minnesota. And, I go down to the river every day to make sure that there's water rolling down there, because people are watering their yards and doing all these things that I just kind of cringe when I see this.
The Rio Grande, Robert, is drying up. Lake Mead out in the western part of the United States is dried up. Colorado River is at dangerously low levels.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, people, that take this seriously, because this is happening in real time. We all have to now start paying attention. The best thing that everyone can do is vote climate champions into office, in positions of power, like our Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, who will do the right thing, vote the right way, and put people first over profits.
Agree 100%. I just have to agree 100%. And we have to really be careful. We have to vote for number one, but we also really need to be educated on who really is for, I mean, we talk about almost the same thing every week, and this has to do with data centers. This has to do with pipelines. This has to do with things that Native Americans have been fighting for as long as I've been alive, and been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years with this government.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Robert, no disrespect to anybody else that is a senator or is a congressperson or anything, but I would rather have someone like Lieutenant Governor Flanagan in office who understands from a cultural perspective that everything is connected, Robert. Everything is connected. Everything is, relies on the other thing. And, to have that perspective, to bring that, to the Senate, where folks need to sit there and really listen and understand that it's just not all about the dollar. And that's why I say too, Robert, when everyone's 401ks are like, and their home values, I'm sorry, y'all, that ain't going to save you when the planet is on fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know this is serious because, Bob, we always have a lot of fun on the show, but this is serious talk right now. And I really appreciate that. We got a minute here left in this segment. What else can people do? I mean, fires are just crazy. I mean, people that I guess don't clean the area around their homes, their homes will burn down. People that do, they don't. It's just, I don't know. These specials I've seen are very scary when it comes to all this, how fast these fires can go, like you said.
Yeah, please have your bag ready. Please, the folks that are up there in the boundary riders right now are being told currently, Robert, that to be ready to go at a second notice. So when they tell you, go, people, save yourself. Your possessions are not worth dying for.
Exactly. I agree 100%, and this is a thing that we really, really need to talk about. Hey, we're here with Bob Blake, the Solar Bear, with the Solar News and Sports, and we're going to take a quick break. This is Native Roots Radio. Ho-wah.
Maintaining our health, particularly our heart health, is very important to us as a family.
Your heart gives you time with family, time with community, time to pass down what matters. Protecting your heart helps keep those moments alive. A visit with a healthcare provider can be one step toward a healthier future. Learn more at hennepincounty.gov/hearts-beats. Your heart health is essential because your heart beats for generations.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
When we heal from our traumas,
When we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
Hi, I'm Mary T. I'm a proud supporter of AM 950 because this station shares the values that I care about most: community, connection, and making a difference. Just like AM 950, I believe in using our energies, our resources, and our voices to lift up others. That's why I started the Mary T. Scholar Program at the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development, providing graduate students with internships internationally. For over the past 10 years, our students have served communities in Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India, Cameroon, and Thailand, gaining experience and helping people in ways that really make a difference. Supporting AM 950 fosters conversation, awareness, and action in our communities. It's about shared values and believing that together we can make a difference. Visit marytinc.com to learn more about the work that we do.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 76. Then Thursday, smoky conditions with hot sunshine and a high of 94. Get your exquisite box of French macarons at Nicolette's Macarons. Nicolette's Macarons is located right off Highway 169 and 36th Avenue on the Plymouth New Hope City line. Visit them in the store or get your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm Bobby Wilson. Witcha.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Bob Blake, the Solar Bear with Solar News and Sports, and we're talking about kind of the grim reality of what's happening here with our climate, and especially here in the summer when it comes to the fires and the smoke. I noticed too, in years past, we usually have a lot of snow from up north that the river, Mississippi River, especially, Bob, has not been high at all. And it's just barely going over the Ford Dam, just trickling over. And we're used to having a robust water coming from the north, but we've been in a drought here that people don't seem to want to talk about.
Yeah, Robert, it's simply amazing how quickly the climate is changing. And like I said, the 100 degrees that it was recorded in the North Pole yesterday, the problem with that, Robert, is that there's a lot of frozen tundra and methane gas that is frozen underneath all that. And when that thaws and that releases, not only are we releasing, viruses and germs from like millions of years ago, we're also releasing this really horrible methane gas that goes up into the atmosphere, warms the planet even more. And so as these sun rays come down, it makes the rays and the heat that much more intense to everything around it. So that's why when I talk about agrivoltaics and putting solar panels over the food so we can protect the food supply, that's really the reason for it. I also want the solar panels in parking lots, just like everybody recommends. But if we can protect our food supply, because we have 8 billion people, and we have to feed them, right? And this really comes back to policy, Robert. And that in the situation right now, we've got Lindsey Graham, Senator Graham, that recently passed away. You've got Senator Mitch McConnell right now that is currently, supposedly, still here, but, 84 years old, Robert. And we have a 51 to, I believe, 49 difference, right, between the Democrats and the senators.
Yeah.
There's a lot of policy measures that this administration wants to get through that are detrimental to the environment right now.
Yeah.
And so that's something that the Democrats have some friends on the other side of the aisle now, because they're seeing the way that this administration is handling everything. And everyone, I say this because this is really, really important that we pay attention to everything, because, this is going to make or break the difference. And if we take climate change seriously, because this is upending regular people's lives, but these decisions are being made by these folks who are, in these positions. And let's be honest, Robert, they're dying because they're just too old. And I don't know what to say about that. I think we need an age limit in order to be a senator or a congressman now.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because I'm a big fan of Jon Stewart, and that's exactly what his whole monologue was yesterday, is all these old people making decisions that can't even do anything with their cell phone, and they're making technology decisions and AI decisions, and they're just you want to be respectful. They're old, but being in as long as these guys have been in, term limits and all these things, all these things that we talk about, age limit, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, correct, Robert. No disrespect to older Americans. No disrespect. But it really is, Robert, that we can't have these individuals making these decisions for all these future generations. And I believe in this next election, this midterm, you're going to see Gen Z on down show up at the polls, and we are going to swing this back the other way, and we are going to get some progressives in there that are really going to understand the current situation of the typical American who is struggling to find shelter, who is struggling to pay the food bill, who is struggling to pay the gas bill. I mean, struggling to put gas in their tanks. The inflation that is happening here is just it's off the charts, Robert. And that's why we need individuals like Lieutenant Governor Flanagan in there to work for the people and put the people first.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. These older people don't really know or are looking to the future. And that's why, to me, it's like, it's crazy. We as natives always talk about 7 generations ahead of us and behind us. And it's how important it is. And I'm really glad you bring up, along with Wendy, bring up our relatives with hooves and tails and wings and fins. Those are our relatives. And there's a mass amount of them dying because of this change in the climate, and also because of laws of pesticides and things that are out there killing them. I remember, coming from, let's say, from Stillwater to the Twin Cities on a summer night and killing millions of bugs. There are not millions of bugs out there feeding bats and other insects. They're gone, and they're not coming back.
I talk about this too, Robert. I talk about eco-suicide and what we're doing right now. The lack of education. I just met with some folks, some educators today, talking about how important education is, and this rail against education, especially from the far right, has just been really damaging to people's psyche and their understanding of, like, the more that you're able to sharpen those analytical skills, the better decisions you're going to make in life. So don't think of education as something as a job or a means to end. Think of it as a way of just being able to make better decisions day to day. Isn't that worth something? So it's unfortunate, and Mike Judge did that movie. What was that again? Where the future world was Idiocracy. Idiocracy.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, and it's like these cell phones and the internet and everything are like driving us that way, because all we ever have to do is just look for the answer right there. And I think it's rewiring our brains, and it's not very helpful to us.
No, and I agree. And it's education. We talk about education in so many different ways, but for Native Americans, we're not in the history books in the correct way. I was at a meeting, and I don't want to say what meeting it was, just a day ago, and we're talking about the history of certain parts of the Twin Cities and how they're going to promote it. And it's like, well, there was people here before the 150 years ago that you're not even mentioning. And that's the way the history books are too, because where you are living or if you're by the river, by water, 9 times out of 10, Native Americans were living there for thousands of years.
And Robert, I just presented to a group of educators today the Solar Cub curriculum, which is a STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math program, y'all. We just got a generous grant from the Minneapolis Foundation to finish it up. We want to get this into the schools. We already have schools already volunteering to take this. I've had a bunch of educators say they want to take it throughout the country. And one of the things I would like to do with this is there is a law in Montana that says that Native American education is like a priority in its law. And I would like to lead with this and get this passed on a state level here in Minnesota and lead with this curriculum that we are finishing up. And because not only are we teaching culture and language, but we're also, teaching the kids on how to deal with the climate crisis as they move forward. So, being able to lead with that and trying to get that passed on a state level, maybe talking to Senator Mary, State Rep Heather, you know what I mean? Two Native women that, I know they have kids, and I'm sure they would maybe get behind something like this, but that's something that I'm going to pursue and try and get something like that passed in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, well, and that's a way to play fire against fire, because let's play their game and make it a law. I know that's something too. One of the things, I'm changing subject just a little bit here. One of the things that's really bugged me about learning and history and things like that is I'm hearing people that maybe hear 2 or 3 generations calling themselves Native Americans. And that really kind of just really irks me, but I think it's more of it's the same thing with the flag. I think it's more people just trying to get on the liberals or get on people's nerves, but it's working for me.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't come across that yet. And I that's amazing though. I mean, I think a lot of people, like I said, Robert, this is why education is so important, everyone. I know that, you get the Fox News that tells you that that's bad, but education is good. And so to hear that and to feel like there's individuals out there that are, using that term to somehow, I don't know, garnish like maybe someone liking them more or accepting them more. I don't know.
That they can make decisions on this land, I think, is part of it, because there's a big land back situation happening across the country and retribution of what's happened to us. And again, I think it's a big pushback on that. Just like what we're dealing with when it comes to the orange guy, we're paying for Obama, and we, because of all the things that the right wing think of with our BIPOC people and our relatives, he should have never been president. And that's all in the same line of thinking that, there's fear, all these things that are happening. And we've witnessed this and gone through this before, so I just want to throw that out there. And, we're going to have some fun here in the next segment. We got Bob Blake. It's a solar bear with the solar news and sports, and we got a lot to talk about. It's All-Star Week here on Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio, and we are here with Bob Blake from Red Lake. Hoa! Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. For a meal that feeds your soul and health, check out Gatherings Cafe. Located in the renovative Minneapolis American Indian Center, Executive Chef Vernon Defoe and team serve up incredible indigenous flavors. Gatherings Cafe has amazing bison tacos featuring lean protein from native wise, corn tortillas, and homemade sides. It's fresh, local food rooted in ancestral knowledge. Stop by for breakfast or lunch. That's Gatherings Cafe, where tradition meets innovation.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Heart health is more than just the physical well-being. It represents like a foundation of vitality, resilience, and the ability to live fully.
Your heart carries stories of resilience, love, and survival. Caring for your heart means honoring yourself and the generations before and after you. It means protecting your ability to gather, laugh, and be present. Learn more about your heart health at hennepincounty.gov/heart-beats, because your story matters and your heart beats for generations.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
Hey, welcome back. This is Native Roots Radio, and we are here with Bob Blake, the Solar Bear, with the Solar News and Sports. Take it away, Bob.
Robert, I want to just do one more story about the Solar Bear with the Solar News, and then we're going to get into sports. But I just want to talk real quickly here. Keystone was ordered to pay $27 million over the harm that killed roughly 2,700 animals for their pipeline spill that was roughly 543,000 gallons of oil. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes. And we know that the Pipestone or the Keystone pipeline is going right through, the middle of the country. And so I just wanted to, talk about that real quick and say that, because here's the other flip side to that. This president tried to kill renewables. But here's the kicker. They are growing anyways. Wind and solar generation turned out more power than nuclear and coal. And so I just want to let people know that your decisions and your choices do matter. And we can continue to kill 2,700 animals with oil spills and ruin, the land and the water. Otherwise, we can just use renewable energy and still serve our needs. So we have a choice here, Robert. And that was just one of the points I wanted to make real quick.
No, I appreciate that. And I know there's so much other things too going on with ICE murders across the country too. And there's a lot of things that we aren't talking about today, but we will this week. And but it's also cool to have some levity and talk a little sports, and we both know that. And I appreciate these updates as always.
Yeah, and Robert, I'm telling you, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and thanks for that, Philip. China knows that cheap energy is world leadership. So to your point there. But I want to say real quickly, the Minnesota Timberwolves are in the sweepstakes for LeBron James. And I'm telling you right now, Robert, the Timberwolves are looking really good, because not only do we have, the Ant-Man, okay, one of the best NBA players in the league, Jaden McDaniels, another big time player, but we just picked up LaMelo Ball, who is just an amazing point guard. We have Rudy Gobert. We have Behringer, who is 19 years old, who is like the alien down there in San Antonio, by the way. And then we, if we were to add maybe someone like LeBron, I believe that the Timberwolves have what it takes to win the NBA championship. We signed Ayo Dusamo, and I'm telling you, the Wolves are looking really stacked for next year. Now, let's talk about the Lynx real quick, Robert. Olivia Miles, who is the point guard and is starting in her first NBA season All-Star game, is just having a career year. And I tell you what, Robert, I'll tell you, us lucking out and getting her at the number 2 pick has just been so fortunate for the Minnesota Lynx because they are number 1 in the WNBA. And this is without their best player, Nafisia Collier, who has not even come back yet, Robert, to the team. And I'm telling you, when she gets back, let's just say that the Minnesota Lynx are going to be on overdrive straight into the WNBA championship.
What is the timeline for her to come back? Do you know?
Oh, well, they're saying she's available now, but I think Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Lynx, is just saying, hey, take your time because we have a thing happening here and there's really no rush for you to come back because we're number 1 in the league. And, you know, we have just like these players right now that are just playing out of their mind because they got someone who can handle the rock and bring it up and create all the plays for everybody on the court. And that's Olivia Miles. And so I'll tell you what, I'm so happy with the Minnesota Lynx. I'm a huge fan, Robert, now of the Minnesota Lynx. I am there, and I'm just really happy that I think they're going to win the championship, honestly.
I do believe, too, on the 28th, we'll be at Target Center for Indigenous Peoples Day at Target Center, and they're giving out some cool swag. And we'll definitely stop by your suite and say hello. Wendy and I will be there. Hey, I got to give, before we forget, because we have a big listenership in Wisconsin, I want to give a shout out to the Brewers in first place. And during the All-Star break and the All-Star game, I believe is tonight because they already did the home run derby, it looks like. And so I'm excited. And the Twins are only a couple games behind in first place. So that's wide open too, depending on if they're going to sell all their players again.
Well, you know, Robert, like here's what I'm thinking with the Minnesota Twins. I mean, obviously they need some relief help, but you know, I mean, it's amazing these young guys, right? Because they got rid of all their veterans. And they basically put together, which would be like from the movie Major League, a bunch of guys they brought together who are just knocking the ball out of the park and around the ball, and they're playing small ball. They're playing, you know, what's that movie? Moneyball, you know? Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Robert, they are doing a great job. So I'm telling you, I think the Twins might be buyers coming up here in the free agency market. And I'm not going to make that prediction, but I think there's a good chance. And like I said, I really want these young guys to just progress and get as much ball time as they can, because I think the Twins got a bright future with all these young players. I'm telling you right now, Robert.
Well, I think we stole Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens' son, who I don't like Roger Clemens, but I sure like Cody Clemens, and he's second on the team in home runs, and he was picked up for, you know, a song and a dance last year, and he's really come along. And not only that, he plays all these different positions. I think he's the MVP right now of the Twins. He plays second, plays center field, plays first base. He plays all over, and he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
I think it was for like $100,000 they got him for, which is like nothing in Major League Baseball. He came from, I believe, Philadelphia, right? So exactly. It's amazing the career year he's having right now. And I think he can be a future all-star. Honestly, I've seen him play. He is an amazing ball player. And like I said, I'm really excited for the Twins. They're just putting it together. Give a shout out to the coach. He's handling this real well. And of course, we just need the poll ads to pull the trigger on some free agents, and let's make a run at the pennant, man.
Yeah, you know, hitting wins you game and pitching wins you World Series, and I think they're picking up pieces all over, you know, the waiver wire. They're picking up people to fill in those spots of the relievers, because the starting pitching is not bad, and it's been really holding up the top three for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And we just had some of the big teams in town recently that played the Twins. And they held up really good against them, Robert. I know they got blown out on a couple of those games, but I mean, I was really proud that they, went into New York and really showed a good, because it's hard to win in the Bronx. I mean, it's hard to win in New York. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so I tell you what, they're going to make a run at the pennant, and I'm excited for the Minnesota Twins and their young stars.
Hey, that's the Solar Bear with the Solar News and Sports. Bob Blake from Red Lake. Love you. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Miigwech.
Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're a part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. See you all tomorrow. This has been Native Roots Radio.
The city of